Okay, everybody. Um, Almost 4 years ago, I guess it was January, I think, of 2023. So 3.5 years ago, I put a video out about IQ versus EQ and when it was super important. Okay, and if you look at learning and students, this is for you. So I really hope you hear this part effectively, and that is IQ is built on when you're trying to retain knowledge, right? IQ is the ability to learn, if you want to really think about it. EQ is the motivation to do something, okay? EQ is motivation. EQ is self awareness, social awareness, um, social regulation, self regulation. These are EQ qualities, okay? And when you look at what you've gone through in university or secondary school or anywhere else, unless it's been apprenticeship of some type, which is excellent. I actually write the stages of learning as well, which are really important because apprenticeship or internship or residency or associate while you learn, these are all very important parts of learning when you have somebody beside you. A lot of people don't have that opportunity. They go to school, then they join, and then they have a boss. Okay. So it's very different. Apprenticeship or mentorship is very important, but really what you have to focus on is the skills and the development that you really need in order to be successful with the knowledge, or at least with the ability to get the right story now, the right information, right? So to use the current tools that you have and tools that are future tools, be able to continue to learn to use those tools. There's an intelligence component to that, but really there's a huge EQ component to that that's more important. Okay. And when you're looking at this, I want you to think about, there's a lot of people right now that are not motivated to really dive deep into understanding how certain things could help them as far as technology goes. And there's a lot of reasons for that, and that's totally fine. But that's an EQ thing. That's not an IQ thing necessarily. Okay. It's an emotional decision that they're making. Some people are afraid to even learn. I'm not talking about AI. I'm just talking about anything because they've been so, they didn't enjoy their learning environment possibly in the past. But for students, you have to learn three things. And it's without a doubt, it's the most important things. I talk about this all the time, but students, you have to stay curious. Okay? You have to be curious. You have to understand why or what's happening. And you have to learn to ask fact-based questions. I've seen terrible stuff out there about people saying all these whys, ask why, why, why. Why opens up interpretation and sometimes guessing. Okay? Fact-based questions are: who was there with you? When did this happen? When do you remember this starting? When do you remember this not being a problem last? When did this become a problem? These are really important questions. Okay? But the art of a conversation, it's really important. And people have to understand, if you're going to have a conversation with somebody you do not know, how do you do it properly? And I'm talking in business, okay? The art of the conversation, right? You genuinely have to be curious. You have to know you have to want to really hear what this person's talking about. And your agenda has to be out of your head. You can't be thinking this first part. You have to ask Socratic questions, fact-based questions, because you're really trying to learn something. And then you're going to move into an evidence phase where now you can start asking, well, I still stay on where, but where did you learn this information? Or who taught you this sometimes? These are still fact-based questions. When did you learn this? Right? And you're thinking about the evidence. And then you're like, may I look at this as well? Or can you show me this? Or would you show this to me? This is that evidence confirmation piece. So this is another thing. You have to go through curiosity. Then you have to confirm what somebody's telling you or what you're learning or what you're reading on your Instagram or whatever. It's real. Okay? You have to confirm it. And then you're going to go to the final part of this, which is communication. And that's what we're talking about the whole time, right? Is learning how to communicate with people, all types of people, so that you can hear what they're trying to say, they can hear what you're trying to say. This is the most important skills, the EQ part of it, in order to be successful in anything when it comes to the business world. Because the knowledge point is why people went to school a lot of times, was for the knowledge. And I want you to hear that. And now schools have to be on the application of knowledge, because nobody goes to the same people in the room every time for the question anymore. I don't see it ever anymore. I see people saying, well, I ran this prompt based off this data, based off this environment, based off this customer profile, and this is what it produced for me. Can we discuss this, everybody? What else should we be looking at here? Like, that's that learning piece, right? But people aren't going to the person saying, what do you think is the best thing for us to do with those customers anymore? People have figured out a better way to get the knowledge. So learn the EQ. EQ is everything. Stay curious. Try to figure it out. Creativity comes from this as well. When you're curious and you're confirming, you will become creative. And yeah, I hope that helps you guys, because coming out of school is tough right now. And my son just did, he's doing great. But I just want all students out there to really focus on their communication piece, okay? And I run a group session for graduating students if anybody wants to learn better skills on this, okay? Thanks, everybody.